Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Narcissist and or witchcraft. So let's jump in. So there was something I wanted to say about the Narcissist and witchcraft practitioners that I haven't spoke on, but I know it to be true. And this is what you'll find when the narcissist, let's say, I mean, you may not know they're a witchcraft practitioner. And in my opinion, they're all witchcraft practitioners because if you're housing in your vessel dark energy or demonic energy, or jinn, or whatever you want to call it, something alien to our society, then it's going to be from the abyss. I mean, when we're talking about dark energy, all narcissists, in my opinion, are housing dark energy because they have traded their true self for the false self, and there's no way that you could keep dark energy away from somebody who has done that. In fact, in my opinion, they were convinced to do that by dark energy in the first place, maybe from the outside, and then it came inside and became their cult leader. You know how I talk about that sometimes. The true cult leader is never the narcissist. Everybody says, you know, the narcissist, all cult leaders are narcissists. They are. But the narcissist is not the cult leader. It's the dark energy that is controlling the narcissist, because the narcissist is not in control of themselves. At the end of the day, if you wanted to perform some sort of a psycho-spiritual test, if there was one available, right, to see who's really in control of that entity, of that avatar, of just the avatar, who's in control of it, who's really pushing all the buttons, who tells the narcissist to lift the arm, and who tells the narcissist to go cheat on their spouse, or to go shoot up with needles, or go blow something up, because they're real good at that. It's going to be, if you were to do a psycho-spiritual, meaning a psychological mix with a spiritual composition of how to test an individual and to determine who's pushing the buttons, that dark energy spirit's going to win all the time. Because this has to do with boundaries. What keeps you away from dark energy or protected is going to be boundaries. That's one of the major ways. There's other things, but what is one of your major ways is going to be boundaries. Boundaries can kind of be different things. They could be different types of things, but look at it from the standpoint of what is the first thing the narcissist does when they come into your life. They love bomb you. Why? Because they got to get you into your ego just like they are. Because they got to pull you down to a level that is eco-friendly with them. If you're up here and they're down here, that ain't good for them. They need you to be pulled down here, and it's going to boost them up, and then they're going to spell you. And now you're in an environment of 199 or less yourself, and you're not comfortable here. You don't know how to navigate there because it's not built for humanity. But the narcissist is very comfortable with it because they tread on that land all the time. So it's kind of like going to a city. If you're going out of town, well, the person that lives in town knows all about that city. They know all the streets, all the gangsters. They know where to walk and where not to go. They know where all the wrecks occur and the cheapest places to buy something, the most frugal places, and the most expensive places, best place to get a meal. It's the same thing. When you're going to be sitting around on your vibration, you know where all those things occur. And you know where to stay away from them, whatever. But what they do is they get you into your ego self and they pull you down to their city, not your city. It's theirs. And they know their city. They know all the back alleys in the streets, and they know where all the gang going on. You know what I'm saying? So you're not comfortable with that. You're not used to that. You're not from that city. So you're sitting in an environment that you don't know what's going to come around the next corner and why. Because they pulled you down to their city. They invited you in. And a part of that vibration, a huge part of that is the illusion that they build. To get you on a demonic vibration when you're living in the physicality like that, and running on a psycho-spiritual level that is demonic, you have to be pulled into it almost like it's an illusion. I've said many times before that illusions is like one of the #1 ways that the enemy will take you down, everybody down. That's how they take the narcissist down and get them to trade their true self for the false self. That's how it starts. It starts with an illusion. What happens when you get high, when you get drunk? What happens when you do things like that? Any kind of lust is going to be built on an illusion. It's an environment that the enemy gets you to feel comfortable in, thinking you can live in that and still operate in some sort of goodness or be able to hold down like you're good. But you get caught slipping, y'all. You always get caught slipping because you get weak. People that walk in addictions or narcissists, they have many addictions. Anything that they do is related to an addiction somehow. They can even get addicted to spelling and performing seances and putting spells on people, because when they don't work, or if they do work, they feel like they took a bunch of people out and feel powerful for that, right? And one way that narcissists work is they will get into illicit substance selling, you know what I'm talking about, and they become a dealer of that. And what they will do is they will OD people on purpose, and they'll do it just because they feel the power over these people. And for them, they don't feel love, so they don't care. Sometimes they would do it as a random activity, put too much fentanyl in this one, or too much of this substance in that one. And they may not even know what random person they're going to take out. They just know it's going to be somebody. And to them, they would just pawn it off as, oh, it's good for society to get rid of that individual because they're doing this crap anyway. But the narcissist is doing it too, because they always get high off their own supply. So they always have some rationalizations how they're better than everybody. But it's an illusion. So that's a boundary that they take down with you, or get you to believe. And that's a bad boundary, to believe an illusion. It's because an illusion is always a lie. Boundaries. So boundaries are also, when you let a narcissist come to your life, you let them do whatever they want. It's like a city without walls is what you turn into. You have ethics are boundaries. Morals are boundaries. And values are boundaries. Ethics, morals, and values are boundaries. But when a narcissist comes into your life, it gets to a point to where you get addicted to them through the trauma bond endocrine system. But then also, they convince you of things like you're never going to be something, or they can convince you if you're not headstrong enough to overcome it, or to know what they're trying to walk you into. I mean, you can play stupid with them because they are stupid, really. But the witchcraft that comes along with them, because there's dark energy in there, it doesn't matter what they're doing. They're eating or drinking. If they're blowing their nose, man, it's going to be evil. Because it's evil. They're evil 24/7, period. If you cannot tell the truth, and you cannot think righteously at all, and you can never be a good witness, and you could never operate with equal scales, you always have to be a taker, you're just a demon in a meat suit. That's all you are. And what I wanted to say is they will cast all the spelling on people, right? And they get angry, they get pissed off when it's not working, especially if they're a high-end warlock, blah, 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 or a witch. And they get this big old ego, and somebody's blown up their head this big, over the years, because maybe they took out like 50 people or something, and they think they're all that. They should feel shame and disgust for the stuff that they've done, but they're demons, fallen angels in a meat suit. It's pretty much what they are. So then when they find somebody, or they cast spells on people and it doesn't work, well, then basically they're subservient to that individual, because they're not near as powerful, and everything they do, they steal. That's all they do. The narcissist steals. They're they extort people. That's all they are. They're liars, cheaters, and thieves, and they're really subservient to all humanity. It's just what they're doing is when you meet a narcissist, they're playing chess with you right away, and you're trying to form a relationship with them. You're trying to go at them honestly, and from the jump, they're a crook, man. They're a convict. They're a convict that's not behind bars. So right away, they're going to war with you unbeknownst to you. They don't fight fair. They're pussies. They're cowards. They're cowards, man. Because a true individual that's got guts would step to you. And they would tell you when it's time to go to war. But these fools play behind your back. And they act all pompous and arrogant until God comes and gives them a good bitch slap. A God smack. Knocks them down to the ground 6 feet under. They ain't laughing no more. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens. And then they get increasingly more angry, and they keep spelling. They'll get addicted to doing it. But then it starts to backfire. Or they'll put spells on people, and maybe they do work. This is what I want to say. They'll put spells on people, and they do work, like glamour spells. And they'll get people. They could be an ugly witchcraft practitioner and get good-looking individuals to come be with them. But it's because they put spelling on them. That's the only reason. They're butt ugly. And they could be butt ugly and an old geezer and dying of AIDS or something, you know what I mean? Like, and these people are practitioners, and the people out there don't know it. So they're going to put glamour spells on them and put these lust spells. And for the instance, the individual that's the priest in the situation on my case, people would go see the priest to get help for they were arguing with their spouse, so they'd go to get counseling, and this guy would put glamour spells on them and lust spells on them, so he could exploit them, and they don't even know it. I don't even think they know it today, but that's what he was doing. So he's in church. People go to get counseling, or some mosque or church or community, and they're going to this guy for advice, to get advice for counseling between, their counterpart, somebody they care about. So they go behind closed doors for counseling to get advice, because they look up to this individual. Because when this individual is wearing a mask, when he's fueled up real good, he looks like Mother Teresa. But he's actually putting glamour spells and love spells, get him addicted to them and get him to think that he's all that. And he's trash. He even looks like trash and has all these diseases. So these people get cast under these spells. They ruin their life with their spouse. And this is in like a church, community center, mosque. And this guy will sleep with them all and break up all these families and take all their money and heist them. He's been doing it for years. And a lot of times he would suck all the fuel off them over and over and over, cycle after cycle after cycle, and beat them down and break them. And then he would cast spells on them so that they would unalive themselves. And then he would get, he would do all this, he would get life insurance policies on him and cash them in, or have people in his family get them and cash them in, and they would split it up or whatever. And, when you're having somebody unalive themselves, or then if it didn't work, they would unalive them, or, they would get them so beat down on an energetic level that they would get them, then they would put spells on them to get them sick and get like malignant cancers and things and take them out. But when the thing is when people are doing witchcraft and you're uncovered, if you're not protected and they do this kind of stuff, it will take you out. And outside of people knowing that you're a witchcraft practitioner or having receipts because they paid for it, how are you going to explain that this guy took you out? It's very hard. There are ways to do it. And a lot of times this guy pays for practitioner work because he's not really that good. He's a kitchen witch. And what I'm saying is when they do all these spells like that, and they will cast them on you, but they get returned back to sender, a lot of times they will hit them with, so if they try to put lust spells on you, but you're protected, it's going to come back on them, and they're going to have the lust spell put on them. But then they may be infatuated with you. See how crazy this stuff works? So now they may be infatuated and following you anywhere you go, or on your media or whatever, because they're now into you. It could even be the same sex, y'all. And they may not even know why their idiot ass is like that. But it's like that because the stuff went return to sender. But when you put these kind of spells on people, and you seduce them with love spells, glamour spells, and lust spells, so that you could take this, somebody who's probably 10 times better looking than this idiot, and get them to go sleep with them, and abuse them, siphon off them, and heist them for all their money, and then take them out or whatever. But before they get taken out, when these things break, when these spells break on these people, they flip out because they start realizing maybe not that it was a spell. Some do figure out it's a spell, but it hits you with such a anger or a frustration and an adrenaline. You just want to wreck this individual. And that's what happens when these spells come off of people. So when spells break on people and they were spellbound into glamour and lust and these love spells and sex spells, whatever, and they've been abused, used, manipulated, and siphoned and sucked from and heisted from, when this thing breaks, people get unalive. People will go out and take you out, and they're not into that. They don't normally do that. But this type of stuff will happen because when these things break, it all breaks at once, and people are agitated, annoyed, pissed off their bank account, and there's nothing in there, and they might have had hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, whatever, and you've been sucking from them, and they were caught up under spells. And for the FBI that don't know, this is how this stuff works. For internal affairs, because you got a bunch of corrupt FBI agents, CMPD, you got judges, lawyers, and city council members, and y'all need to wake up. And this is for the judicial system all over the country. And they're coming down. And that's why you're seeing these covens fall now, because God's breaking this stuff. There is a ripple effect going through this country. We've been putting a lot of knowledge out, a lot of good people, on this cultic stuff that's been putting people to sleep, good people to sleep for a long time. And that's why my channel and other people's channels are getting held back. They're shadow banned, and people are getting destroyed out there because they are outing this knowledge and they don't want it to be outed. If I didn't have the protection and the coverage that I have, and if I didn't know the Lord, I wouldn't be here right now. I promise you. But that's all. Have a good day.